that parents be consented or get consent for their children to be viewing pornographic material in school. That is not being upheld. I checked myself. I walked into Hammond Bay and I got a call number from the software that is available freely online. I got the call number of the book. I walked into the library after the principal tried to convince me that I wasn't allowed in the library at a public school that my daughter goes to. I walked into the library, went to the call number, talked to the librarian, had them direct me to the call number where the book was. Thankfully, the book was not there. It said on the website that it was, so I suspect, and I choose to believe, now this might be a big assumption and a big hope, but I choose to believe that there's teachers in the schools that do care, that do want to get this out of the libraries. They do want to protect the students. That's what I choose to believe in that instance, because I know teachers in the school system that do care, that are kind of covertly subverting the system. And the book was not there, and thankfully for that, but it also could be that there's a school teacher that is using that material to teach in the classroom, and that's why it wasn't there. And that's also the counterpoint to that, is we have to be aware of that too. So the good news is there's freedom plastered on the side of this building. There's a big mural, the word freedom. We talked about postmodernism and its effects on schooling nowadays, that we're trying to redefine what truth is, we're trying to redefine what XX and XY chromosomes are. There is truth, and in many ways I often wonder if this isn't an extension of too much freedom. We've had no bounds on our society whatsoever, and we've ended up in this position of having to define what is freedom. Well, freedom is me being able to do whatever I want. No, that is not freedom. I would say when you put up the fence next to the cliff for your children not to fall over the cliff, is that impeding on their freedoms, or is that allowing them to have freedoms? And we have to have that conversation at some point to say, where have we gone too far in terms of freedom? Where does freedom come from? Where did it originally come from? What is the idea of freedom? Go ahead.
Tanner, on the metaphor you put over the fence, further with vaccines, and how much influence do you think vaccines have had on children to influence them to these choices that schools are giving?
Yeah, I can't speak to I can say from a vaccine standpoint from where I'm at right now in terms of employment, but I didn't grow up in this world with, like you're talking about how vaccines could influence children's education in the future.
Yeah, and what's inside the vaccines that are influencing now.
Yeah.
Because their attitudes are changing, and suicides are going up, and we need a correlation, we need something to put them together, connect the dots. We know the vaccines are dangerous, and they introduce the children and babies, and it's going to affect generations.
Yeah.
So, how much influence does vaccines have? Would they have to get children to start to believe what the teachers are telling them?
Tony, this is beyond the scope of my abilities and expertise, but I will entertain the idea. But right now, I'm going to pass the floor over to Jen, and she's just going to do a brief presentation on what books are exactly in schools and her research in that regard. Jenn Elmore.
Are you okay if I record? I guess so.
Jen?
Yes?
He has a question for you.
Are you okay if I record?
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Oh, wonderful. Thank you. So yes, I also ran for the school board in Cowichan. And yeah, I wasn't as brave as Tanner, but we were running on the same sort of ideas. And my focus was more so to do with special needs kids, and also about the SOGI. But one of the things that I find particularly disturbing is that 30% of the kids that are involved with transitioning are special needs kids. That's what the statistics say. And so that's particularly disturbing. I've got a couple of friends with special needs kids who are encountering the same sort of pressures and issues. So So, what I've been looking at for this is the books that they have in the schools.